Right then, it's a quick walk around video for a really smart car. This is a Honda CR-V 1.6 EX diesel. Finished in white, which always looks fantastic on these facelift cars. The car's covered 68,000 miles, has a full Honda service history, and it's in lovely condition. New style front end looks absolutely fantastic on the car. Lights and lenses are clear and intact. There's no cracks or condensation in them. Bonnet, very, very clean indeed. Near side of the car, panel works lovely and clean. There's a tiny little touch in over the fog light there, but that's about it for correcting me. What now? 8-year-old car. Near side front alloy, really nice. Panels look very good indeed. Near side rear alloy again, very, very clean indeed. Back, get the new style chrome front and bottom, and little protect there on the back as well. Again, all very clean. Offside, driver's side, again, really crisp in the panel work. Offside rear alloy, very, very good. Just a couple of very light marks. Final level, very good again. It really is a nice crisp looking car, this one. As soon as you see it, you can see exactly what I mean. Coming to the boot area now, obviously electric tailgates you can see, working perfectly. Huge boot, and it's been kept in absolutely beautiful condition. Coming to the back of the car, enormous amounts of leg room, and the front seats are set for me, and I'm 6 foot tall or just over, that's what I claim. Leather work, again, really, really good condition for essentially a family car, and they can be usually very heavily used, but not this one. To the front and the passenger side, again, lovely and clean, full set of original Honda mats in the car, again leather work on the passenger seat there, excellent condition. Coming on the driver's side, door card really nice and clean, same with the footwell areas. The driver's seat again, apart from a little bit wear on the bolster as you get in and out, which is exactly what you'd expect to see on this age of mileage, but very, very nice indeed. Inside the car now, as always, the engine's running here, so the dashboard can be seen illuminated, which looks pretty much like new in here. It's in fantastic condition again. Sat nav, you can see working exactly as it should. The contra reverse there, reverse parking camera again working exactly as intended. Obviously you get parking sensors front and rear to back that up as well. Just quickly show you, dashboard binnacle there, 68,619 miles, and there are no warning lights on the dashboard at all. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual, pack and lock and all that key, all here and present with the car. Then this is a quick road test video, and this is for Honda CR-V 1.6 EX diesel. Car's registered AE15YLX with a mileage of 68,619 recorded. The reason we do these videos, and especially this bit, is to ensure that if anyone's online looking at any of our cars, they get to see the car in the adverts actually in operation. And the reason we feel it's important is because we have too often been to see cars, like many people, which looks perfectly good in photographs or description, but only to get them find out it's got an obvious fault when you drive the car. So that's why we do it. Also done on these very quiet country roads in this lovely part of Gloucestershire, and this actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, and the hope is then that it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car itself, clearly a wonderfully maintained car, and it's immediately obvious the moment you start moving along really. Push button start, engine starts instantly and settles to a smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. And temperature gauge running as a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on one of these cars. This is a pretty potent diesel, it's a 1.6 litre twin turbo, 160 horsepower, and it absolutely belts along. Being a Honda, if they're well maintained, they'll go on for very high mileages. They're cam chain driven, there's no cam belts on them to worry about, so there's no sort of huge service looming on the vehicle. But it's just a lovely, lovely unit. It's flexible, but you put your foot down and it immediately kind of pins you back and off you go. It's yeah, just a really nice unit, and when you're up to speed as well, it's been very quiet and smooth. Only when you're at sort of lower RPMs, lower speeds, are you obviously aware that it is a diesel. Even Honda can't, make that disappear. Engine then feeds through into the clutch and gearbox. Clutch in the car, absolutely spot on, nice and smooth, and bike point is exactly where it's meant to be. The gear change itself is, one of the best you're going to come across. It's got, the first things first is the positioning of the gear lever is perfect. It's just your hand falls naturally to it. The angle that it changes in terms of its plane is, again, perfection. Short in throw, snappy, precise, mechanical in feel, even though it's cable operated. It's an object lesson to other manufacturers in exactly how to do a good gearbox in the car. It's the best out there in this marketplace, in this sector, certainly. And it happily go into 40 cars. It's that good, and it feels as it would have done when it was new. It's just zero wear in it. Let's come to the steering suspension. Honda, this is, the CR-V's been the best-selling SUV in the world for a long time. There's a very good reason. It's not just because it's reliable, but it's how it drives. It's a really lovely car to drive. It's got really nicely weighted steering. It feels very confidence-inspiring. Never gets nervous. It flows with the chassis absolutely brilliantly. It's reasonably quick actually as well. Not to say it's sporty, because it's not. I stress that these aren't sports cars, but they do drive beautifully. It also tracks dead straight. There's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. The suspension is very supple, very capable of dealing with sort of imperfections in the road, very comfortable indeed. Yet when you go through corners like this, which normally trip up SUVs, you turn in, hardly any body roll, and it just flows through corners brilliantly well. And that's why they're, some of the motoring press completely just don't understand. It's almost as if they don't realise you're going to put passengers in the car. And that's what these are brilliant at. Their body control in terms of motions is so much better than most other cars in its class. Most of them have got to lurch about, or the only way they can do it is to have rock hard suspension. And this is genius in the way they've done it. So there's absolutely no rattles or clonks coming from underneath the suspension. It's as tight as a drum in every single way. The brakes, which are in fantastic order by the way, touch the brake pedal, it's powerful, no pulsing, no vibrations. But all these things are going to be checked tomorrow because it's going off for its MOT, which is done independently of us. And then finally coming inside the car, first things first, beautifully put together car. This is real build quality over many years, not when they hand you the motoring press, the brand new car. It's they're tough indeed. It's been kept in beautiful condition as well. But it's just such a lovely car to sit in and drive as well. So I've got to be very careful now because my wife's coming the other way. Got to make sure she doesn't ram me off the road. But no, it's just a pleasure to sit in. You've got brilliant visibility all around in the car. Dash layout is one of those where you can just jump in and drive it, but after a couple of days of owning a car, you've pretty much mastered it. It's very simple, but it's easy to navigate as well, which brings me on, no pun intended, to the sat-nav, all working perfectly. Dual zone climate control system below that, separate from the screen, all working exactly as it should, pumping out ice cold air. The switch gear has a lovely sort of click precision to everything you do in there, as Honda do brilliantly. And then we've got your heated seats again working exactly as they should, not that they're needed this time of year. Dash binnacle, again classic Honda, simple, precise, legible dials, very simple to read. And you've got this lovely small leather-bound steering wheel, which feels absolutely fantastic to hold. This is a four-wheel drive version of the CR-V, but you don't press any buttons. There's nothing to activate because it does it completely automatically. When Honda launched the original CR-V, they were way ahead of the game, as is generally the case with them, and they worked out that the vast majority of people will be driving as I am today, in perfectly good conditions where you don't need four-wheel drive on. So basically it isn't. It's in two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, pretty much the whole time, and that's the most efficient way to pull any car along. Only if it needs to go into four-wheel drive will it do so, via the traction control system, which is going to react far more quickly than you can. So if you pulled away on snow, mud or ice, it senses the front wheel starting to lose grip, it seamlessly, almost by magic, brings in the rear wheels. It's like someone pushing you in the back, and it's brilliant. It works brilliantly. We've used them, we've owned too many CR-Vs to mention. Towing a caravan, never come close to getting stuck with it, but the advantage is obvious. You're going to get through your tyres less quickly than a permanent four-wheel drive system. You're going to use less fuel, and you're going to put far less mechanical stress through the vehicle. We've been selling these for decades, and I can't remember ever putting a spanner on a CR-V in terms of its four-wheel drive system. The car drives absolutely perfectly, and dare I say it, because I hate it because it's a horrible used car cliche, but it literally feels like it drives like new. It just feels that tight and taut.